Good morning. We have made it to Thursday, and today I'm going to use the Rebel deck. And for those who don't know, I've got my new giant unicorn behind me. There's actually kind of a funny story about that, but I'm very into unicorns, and I like the Rebel deck. It does have profanity, so if you're sensitive to profanity, I just want to give that disclaimer. All right, what have we got for our coaching tip for Thursday? What is our topic? Oh, oh hey. It's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. You are a grown-ass adult. Stop blaming others for your shit. And it's interesting that this comes up today because yesterday we had about not absorbing other people's stuff. However, it is important to take responsibility for our own. And not just because it's the right thing to do, but if you're blaming other people for your circumstances, then you're not in your power. You, when we get into a place where we're blaming other people, it's their fault that this happened. It's their fault that this, you know what? You've given your power to them. You've now said that they have the power to change your life in ways that you don't like. How can you take action from a place where you have no power? By taking responsibility, because no matter how messed up a situation was, like say it's a relationship, and this person came into your life and turned everything upside down, left you broke, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially exhausted, you could say it's their fault. And obviously, a lot of the behavior involved might fall in their area of responsibility, but ultimately, at the very beginning, you made the decision to share your space with them, to invite them into your life. And that's not a blaming thing, it's accepting responsibility. Because if I know that I made the decision that allowed them into my life, that created all of this disaster, if I take responsibility for that, that means that I have control over what happens in my environment. And the next time someone wants to come into my space, I can make a different decision. I can take responsibility for the fact that I made a poor choice based on what I knew at that time. But being grateful for what I learned through that experience, knowing that I alone have control over who I allow into my space, the next time I can make a different choice. I have the power to choose what happens in my life. So when we take responsibility, we're not alleviating other people of their responsibility in the situation. It doesn't mean that what they did was okay. What we're doing is saying that, you know what, regardless of how it worked out that way, at one point in that process, I made a choice. And these are the results of the choice that I made. And so going forward, I know to make different choices. I'm in my power. I alone have control over what happens in my life. If it's a job, if it's where you live, if you anything that happens at some point, you made a choice. And that choice that you made led to that situation. You may not have had all the information. You may have been misled. However, because you know that ultimately you control the choices you make, you can make better decisions going forward, and that is where your power lies. So rather than blaming someone else and saying that they have control over your life to impact you in a negative way if they choose to, you take the responsibility and say that, you know what, from this point forward, I've learned. I am no longer going to make choices that allow people into my life that will cause negative results. And part of that is healthy boundaries and learning that, you know, you don't owe anyone anything. A lot of people will try to put their responsibilities on you, will try to make you feel like you owe them something, that, use guilt, manipulation, gaslighting, whatever. There are so many psychological ways that people can try to pull from you as if you owe them something. And when you take the perspective and really believe it, I don't owe anyone anything. The choices that I have made are why I have the results in my life that I do now. You're in your power, and you choose consciously how to move forward to get better results. And another thing that's very important about making decisions, staying in the present moment. Regardless of what happened in the past or what you're anticipating in the future, the present moment, this moment we're alive in right now, is the only time that we can make change. And when you're in your power and you're making decisions based on your best interests, putting yourself first, and not allowing others to manipulate the way you view things, you make better decisions. And that's where, by taking responsibility for everything that's happened up to this point, being grateful for the lessons that you've learned because of it, using that wisdom as you make choices in the present moment, you can completely change the outcome of your future. And it's something that we go over in coaching, in rewiring the way our brain works, reprogramming our old belief systems, the outdated belief systems that live in our subconscious that keep us in repeating patterns of behavior. And so if there's something that keeps repeating over and over in your life that's negative, that you don't want to continue to have moving forward, that probably is rooted in the belief system. And know that that can be changed. Regardless, take responsibility for where you are right now. Stay in an attitude of gratitude about how you got to where you're at and what you've learned along the way, because those lessons, those challenges, are where you're going to have the wisdom to move forward in a different way. So don't blame other people. Take responsibility. When we blame others, we give away our power. But when we take responsibility, we hold our power for ourselves and we make decisions from a place of strength. So I hope this helps. I will talk to you soon. Love and light.